Hello and welcome to Simuldub Saints, your guide to seasonal anime dubs. I'm your host, Laserkid, and with me as always is my trusty co-host.
Hello, I am Archangel, lover of cat girls.
You've been listening to our theme song, Wherever I Go, from the podcast, Ampren. Please check out their awesome music, link in the description.
And in this episode, we are shouting out, probably unnecessarily, the legendary Mr. Welch. More about him at the end.
I'll not promote myself as a gnome punter on a podcast.
He could do whatever he wants. He's earned that right.
He has. I was trying to think of what I was going to say to that once I realized who you were shouting out. And that's the best I could come up with in like the 15 minutes since I saw that.
Yeah, no, he's actually, there's a lot more to him than the list, as we'll discuss.
Indeed. But we'll get to that way later in this episode, at the other end of this episode. But now, we're in the news. The Shy manga is ending in 4 chapters. Of course, we've had 2 seasons of that anime. I expect we'll have a lot more if this manga is almost over. The anime is definitely going to come back and probably go at a much faster pace because, if the source is done, that's the time to clean up. So I bet you're happy to hear that that story is going to get sped up, at least assumedly so.
Indeed.
Because I know you're a big fan of that one. I enjoy it too, though, to be fair. Not as much as you do, but I like it. And then there was a news that caught my eye because I'm an old anime hat. There's a new Magic Knight Rayearth anime coming out in 2026, and they've got a whole bunch of stuff on that, which is pretty cool. Gotta love Clamp when they go at it.
Okay, and I have never heard of that, so you'll have to educate me later.
Well, it's an old school classic, but it's most well known for is a Working Designs Sega Saturn game.
Huh.
By Working Design, I mean the translator. They didn't actually make the game, of course, but they translated it and the same way they did with Lunar, and it's infamous. The old anime's been around forever. You can still pick it up, watch it. It's all over the place, but interesting that they're doing a new one. And our last piece of news is a series of news. I thought about doing them all individually. Nah, not doing that. But the Fall Dubs are here. And because the Fall Dubs are here, we're getting cast lists. We have a cast list for Banished from Court Magician. We have a cast list for Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Writer, which I'm going to comment on when we're done about all this. We've got a cast list for Spy Family. We got a cast list for Pass the Monster, Meet Milady. A cast list for Let's Play. A cast list for Kakuria, Bed and Breakfast for Spirits. We got a cast list for My Hero Academia final season. I don't know why. We all know who that is at this point, but hey, it's there. And we have a cast list for Gather's Adventure in Isekai. All of whom I have great casts, but I have to specifically shout out Tojima Wants to Be a Kamen Writer, because who they got for Tojima, A, is a legendary voice actor, B, is the perfect fit. They got Patrick Seitz, Dio Brando himself, to be Tojima. And it's fucking great. He is amazing as he's just like, I'm gonna punch you! I was like, oh, that's that Patrick Seitz. You gotta love it.
Okay.
Also, show good. I know you haven't seen it yet, Mark, because you were indisposed yesterday, but you will, and I think you're gonna like it. The rest of us certainly did.
Well, one that I have seen the first episode of that we were uncertain what it was going to be, that I should just very briefly follow up, the Pass the Monster Meet Milady, thumb up.
Oh, yes. Definitely thumbs up on Pass the Monster Meet Milady. I did enjoy that.
Because we weren't sure if that was going to be lame or not. It is not. It is quite adorable, in fact.
I actually also quite liked Let's Play. In fact, let's just quickly go over the ones that we've seen, and we can just yay or nay them just because we're on that little subtopic here. Yeah. Status as Assassin, obviously, he's the heroes. I think we're both thumbs up on that.
Very much so.
We're both very much a thumbs up on May Ask for One Final Thing, and we've mentioned that before. We mentioned Monster Meat. Oh, it's beautifully stupid. Gather Your Isekai, I wouldn't quite say thumbs up, but I wouldn't say thumbs down. Check it out if you like Isekai. If you don't like Isekai, it's not doing anything new.
Yeah, I think LK nailed it when he called it generic McIsekai.
It is the most generic Isekai I've ever seen. That's not necessarily bad, it's not necessarily good, but it doesn't stand out. Let's Play, I'm giving a temporary thumbs up to. I enjoyed that first episode. It made me laugh quite a bit. Well, not out loud laughing, I guess.
It has a good touch for comedy, and
I was amused.
The premise is still interesting. We'll see what it does with it.
Yes, but so far, so good. Tojima Want to Be a Kamen Rider is absolutely one of the standouts for me this season already. It is quite good. Banished Court Magicians also stand out for me. We already knew that Campfire Cooking and Spy Family were great, but there they are. And yeah, Spy Family's back arc. You haven't seen that one yet, but it's exactly what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the new dubs that we're watching on Crunchyroll so far. Hopefully more to come. I'm looking forward to the Dark History of the Reincarnated Villainous. I watched that one subbed. It's pretty good. So that dub's on the way in a couple weeks. But that does it for our news and impromptu seasonal heads up, I guess.
Follow up.
Follow up, yeah. We'll probably do more of that as we go, especially this early into a season. But we're in that fun point of a season where we still have a bunch of shows from last season we haven't talked about, especially because we didn't get to talk about as much as we would have liked to last season, just due to reasons. But also because the current season is kind of like, well, I got like 3 episodes at most, if that. Many of them have 1 or even not anything yet.
Right.
So we're going to go and talk about the cultural exchange with a Game Center girl at ARC. This one's all you, because I know how much you love this one.
I did. Although, in terms of like specific plot points, it's more just
We're not gonna bother.
a haze. Yeah, it's just more just kind of a haze of cuteness in my memory.
Honestly, same. Like, basically, you have our characters meet, and we'll talk about how they meet when we talk about the characters, because you know us. We're gonna go through them. We'll tell that's kind of as far as plot goes. Character meets this character, that meets this character. Here's their connection, and just they're cute and adorable. They play arcade games together. They try to help each other out. It's fun.
Kids growing up and being kids.
I'm not even sure they're quite growing up yet. This isn't quite a coming of age story yet.
Not coming of age, but they are growing as people do.
Well,
growing and learning,
and that's everybody everywhere. That doesn't make it anything. When we say it's that kind of story, that has a certain connotation.
Yeah.
And that's not what this is. But I get what you mean. They're growing as people, but that's basic storytelling. But do you want to talk about the characters, or do you want me to?
Well, chime in. But okay. So I would say arguably the protagonist is young Miss Lily Baker, voiced in English by Bryn April. Also known as Mimosa Vermilion in Black Clover, and Rain in I Left My A-Rank Party to Help My Former Students Reach the Dungeon Depths. So, very precious voice. And she does a really good job with, so Lily is British, and she's obviously in Japan with her parents, who I believe her father is, who we'll talk about later, is working in Japan, because her mother seems
get
to be
him. I have a rant. I have an absolute rant. It's not about him, but it's about him, but not the character.
I hear you. Well, anyway. I want to know a little more about his background, but
as do I.
We'll get to it. Because I have some speculations, but they're just that, speculations. Anyway, but so Lily is just some kid who's transplanted to literally the other side of the world and struggling to learn Japanese, as people do. Thankfully, she is a kid.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I grew up being moved all over.
I don't even want to think about it.
I was transplanted within the country, but to different states, and that was hard enough. I can't imagine. Oh, it's Japan.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoy Japanese Pop culture, that's a whole different world.
Yeah, being not a Japanese person moving to Japan, that is basically an insurmountable barrier culturally,
I
because
wouldn't say insurmountable, but difficult.
Japan is an ethno state, and so you are either Japanese or you're not, and you cannot bridge that gap. Um, from what I understand, so which
Right.
is what it
In
is,
terms of full integration, you're completely correct.
right?
But you mean I wouldn't say it's an insurmountable barrier. You can have a decent time there.
I guess. I don't know. There's many different opinions I've seen, and it probably depends on where you go and who you fall in with. And thankfully for
That
Lily,
is,
she falls in with an excellent crew at a local game center.
yep. The first person she meets is this guy named Renji Kusakabe, voiced by Connor Allison. That's Vidon, the ultimate lover in The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventurer in Another World. And Arstide Roger de Gabreth in Past the Monster Meeting Lady. That's the Blood Mad Duke himself.
Yep.
Renji's great.
Leading man. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He is every one of us who's ever been like the older gamer.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's like at all.
The big brother. He is the big brother figure who works at the game center part time, and he's, well, as we'll discuss in a minute, a literal older brother as well. But he is actually a pretty damn skilled gamer, partly because he's just that little bit older, but also unironically, he's really good. But he's very chill about it, unlike some other people we meet during the show, who are such fucking tryhards. My God, no major characters, but there's this one episode where there's this tournament, and of course, the characters are making fun of these people IRL, but a lot of the characters who show up for the tournament are such tryhards. My God,
it's pretty silly.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, so the interplay between them and Lily learning Japanese. So I imagine it's a different experience if you speak Japanese and you listen to the original Japanese audio. But they did a really good job of translating that experience insofar as you can into the English dub.
Yeah, they go for a British slang for the English.
Right. Well, because Lily is British, and Bryn does a really good job of making Lily really cute and so forth without making her a caricature British person.
Right.
This
is one case where I would certainly consider watching the sub also, because having them actually speak English, and my understanding is the person they got in Japanese is fluent in English, so it's an actual experience. I'm curious to know what that is like, because that's probably the best way to watch it, as much as the sub is amazing, and it is. We're not shouting it out for nothing. Yeah, but I imagine that's a cool experience.
Right. So in the dub, the way you could tell that they're speaking English in the dub in character is, first of all, there will be Japanese subtitles, which are just baked into the animation. They just left them, which is good. And also, is particularly when Renji does it, Connor puts on his really fake British accent and sounds like a total tool, because Renji's really trying, and Connor does a really good job of playing that up. It's hilarious.
It is beautiful. I definitely enjoyed that.
Yeah, cheerio.
Cheerio.
And of course sends Lily into stitches because he sounds like a chode. But but it's cute.
What's funny is Lily starts crushing on him pretty fast, and he's oblivious because he thinks she's just trying to figure out how to do Japanese, so he's going to help her to learn Japanese,
which is a very generous offer. And so that's how they start getting to know each other as essentially language buddies. And meanwhile, they don't realize at first, it turns out that Lily's best friend she's made at school, Aoi Kusanabe, is Renji's little sister. Kusakabe, excuse me. Voiced by Kayla Parker, also known as Lana in Tsukimichi Moonlight Fantasy, and Kuroto Ichinose, in Deadmau5 Deathplay. Who's just a normal, charming young girl, and very good friend to Lily. And when she realizes Lily's got a crush on her big brother, she doesn't really know what to think.
Well, it's funny as they play this up for a while. It's like, oh, my friend Lily's getting creeped on by a game center employee. Oh, I don't know who that is. I'm in
I'll keep it up
now. I'm incognito.
Oh god! At one point, he puts on this weird cool persona. It's because Reggie's still a kid too, so he does some really dorky stuff.
He does,
but it all comes from a very sweet place. And to be clear, I mean, Lily has an ever deepening crush on Renji. Renji likes Lily as a friend and sort of a little sister, but he does not have any romantic attachment to her
yet.
I mean, that might change when she gets older, but he's in his early teens. She is a child.
Yeah,
it would be very strange if he did.
It
would be in the creep end of hentai, which is something.
Which is why his sister is like.
I would love to see later seasons when he's in late high school or college, and Lily is actually now a proper teen. And if her feelings haven't changed, that'll be interesting.
I don't know if that's where this is going. It doesn't seem like that's kind of what I want, but I could be wrong.
Well, the very last episode, which I literally just finished watching, catching up before we did this, it said game over. Continue.
Oh, I definitely think we're doing more of this.
I would hope, but yeah.
Well, things get a little more interesting in the arcade.
Just to finish that thought, because if they do push that forward in time eventually, then it turns from just this is cute to an actual rom-com, which would be interesting.
The age difference there would be really awkward for most people. You're not saying that can't be a thing.
Strange. Yeah, it would be very strange.
So I don't know that would be the right choice.
I wouldn't actually ship them in that situation, but watching that play out would be very interesting.
It would be awkward as all hell, and I'd really rather they not.
Okay.
Personally. But and they'll do what they do.
Yep.
But anyway, our arcade duo, or with sister and best friend, gets thrown into chaos with the appearance of Karin Kaga, voiced by Alexi Nieto. That's Paul Irving in Anne Shirley. He won't tell a lie, except for he totally will. And Short in Reborn as a Vending Machine. I now wander the dungeon. The little one of the beast guys.
Yeah. Oh my god. So yeah. Inspired casting choice, because this is like the ultimate tomboy gamer.
Oh yeah, no kid. Karin is there because she wants revenge on Renji, or not revenge exactly, but a rematch. Because Renji beat her in an arcade fight somewhere, which he doesn't remember, but she does.
Yeah,
and she wants
to her. Renji is her personal final boss.
This is like Sagat and Ryu shit for you Street Fighter nuts.
Okay.
Not in Street Fighter 2. In Street Fighter 2, it is about revenge, but later on, that's totally what we got going on here.
Yeah. And so Karin is very much the tomboy, irreverent. It's one who will unironically say "smell you later." But she, as much as she likes to pretend she's too cool for stuff, once she actually gets into stuff, she's as enthusiastic as any other kid.
Indeed, she's kind of the local delinquent, as it were.
Sort of, kind of, not really, but
she of course
definitely got that aesthetic going.
She's going to that same school with Lily and Allie, and she's the delinquent. But every delinquent has a class rep equivalent, and I think this one's all you.
Oh god, Miss Hotaru Katsurugi, voiced in high style by Jill Harris, the legendary Jill Harris. I think it's safe to say.
It definitely feels that way because we got Fern and Freeran.
Alina Clover in I May Be a Guild Receptionist, but also Lenny Boss to clock out on time, which is,
and
if there's any career making, it's as silly as that show was, that's a career defining performance.
The other one that I didn't write down, but it's totally also her, is Nina the Starry Bride herself.
Yep. Yeah, she's been doing a lot of work lately.
She has, and she's really good at it. But here, she's the class rep.
Yeah. Who is the ultimate good girl in the sense where she just does everything that she's supposed to do, but she hasn't really thought about why because she's a kid. And so she's thinking, oh, uh, arcades, that's a waste of time. We should be studying, all the usual bullshit lines. And they convince her, oh, this could be educational. So she's like, oh, I have to see what's going on. I can't tell if she's lying to herself or just making excuses because she thinks she needs to be proper or something.
At first, she's trying to prove to them that it's not. And then she has fun. She's like, oh, I see. And that turns into denial or lying to oneself over time, where it's like, oh, yes, this is very educational. She has to tell herself that she's having fun.
Yeah, I think she has to keep up the shtick just like Karin does. It's amazing how
they're very much
we have to keep up our own. We have to keep up our own self-image. It's a very human thing.
Yep. Of course, even when Renji dresses up, the only one that does trick is his sister. Everyone else knows it's him. Eventually, that gets broken, and you have a whole thing to do with that. But there are adults in their lives, specifically Lily's parents. I'm going to go ahead and let you do a double up here.
Renji and Aoi's mom, at least, is around, but
they're there. Yeah, we don't really see them.
But much. But the Bakers do form an important part.
I'm actually totally let you take the mom because I have things to say about the dad.
Cheryl Baker, who's voiced by Grain Noel, I believe that's how you pronounce that. And couldn't find any other credits for her, but she does a fantastic job here.
As far as I can tell, this is her voice acting debut, and she does a great job.
Yeah, and she's their stereotypical, very kind mother, and there's more to her than you might think. Because when we talk about Ollie in a second, she is adept at managing her husband, as any good wife should be. She's just she regards Lily's antics with amusement mostly because I think she sees her younger self in Lily.
I can totally see that, and she's very much the sweet, loving mom who is understanding. I don't think I also get the distinct sense she wouldn't put up with bullshit though.
No, if she thought if she smelled a whiff of problem about Renji, the hammer of justice would have come down.
I think so, and I think that has a lot to do with how she reacts to her husband, who we first meet as he accidentally he's kind of driving around, and he might accidentally run into them, and Renji saves Lily from the car, and he's like, "Oh, it's my Lily!" Oliver Baker is here comes the rant.
Okay.
This is the best voiced character in this entire show. He is a vocal performance tour de force and an absolutely deserving of all of the awards we could possibly shower on him. But there's one major problem.
Crunchyroll being Crunchyroll.
They have not credited this voice actor. Sir, I have no idea who you are. I cannot get you by ear. There's 2 or 3 different voice actors I could imagine, but I don't know who it is. Whoever you are a gift to the anime community. Thank you for this absolutely stellar performance. Please let us know who you are. We want to credit you. This character is so fun because he's the overprotective dad. We've given him a dumbass award for that before.
But all in good fun. He is the best dad in a sense, but Lily's at that cusp at that age where dad's starting to become embarrassing. Particularly when he's very enthusiastic like Ollie is, and it's cute.
It's very cute. Well, and like you said, mom knows how to handle him. I'm glad you watched that last episode though, because I think we get a lot more depth into his character in that last episode than we had before. He was kind of a one-note joke for a while. Still an absolute top-tier performance, but getting that depth to the character really helped. This guy, he really does care. I mean, that was always obvious. But he's also he's not as stupid as he appears. He knows. Right.
He's just but he tends to leap before he looks. So I actually know a lot of guys like this from my World War II reenacting work. So he is, I can say with 110% certainty, he is ex-military.
That would make
Just
sense because we've got scenes of him saying, "I know how to shoot a gun." That's
exactly.
not how you shoot a gun.
Yeah. So he is built first of all like a brick shit house.
He is.
And so, I don't get the sense that he's like a professional bodybuilder or anything. I think either he's just took up a different line of work after getting out of the military, or what I think is more likely he's doing some sort of security consulting work for some big corporation or corporations in Japan.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Because I'm guessing he's former SAS or SBS or something like that from the British military. That's just a guess, but an educated one.
From my personal life, my brother-in-law is retired military, and he goes to Japan a lot because he does military contracting. So it could be something as easy as that.
There's that. And we definitely, he's, aside from his physique and so forth, in the final episode where they're at a festival, there's actually a funny thing where there's the air rifles with the corks, and he's like, "Oh, let no pro show you," and he can't hit it because he's trying to shoot it like a real rifle, and that's not how they behave. And so Renji's doing this stupid looking thing and hitting them every time, and he's like, "That's no way to shoot a rifle." And Renji looks at me, he's like, "Sir, it's Mr. Baker, it's not a rifle. You can't shoot it like one, or you won't hit anything." That's the thing. You got to know the parameters of your weapon. But yeah, he is. Oh God,
he's a great character.
What's really funny is because, and for very good reason, because he's very big and very intense, and has a practice death glare, Renji is scared shitless of him, which is
I would be too.
Honestly, that's very sensible of Renji. I mean, you think that's easing off as he's getting to know the guy, but still, and look at it from Oliver's point of view. Some unknown older boy being so close with his little daughter, what's he supposed to think at first?
No, that's understandable. But when your wife is like, "Hey, it's not like that," you want to listen to your wife.
Yeah,
I understand going, "My daughter doesn't know any about it."
It pretty quickly transitions from, "I think this guy is a creeper. I think he's been disabused of that," but now it's the fight for baby's affection type of thing.
Yeah,
I think there's. I don't know. I don't have any daughters. I don't have any sisters, but I think that's a natural thing. Although it's just puppy love on Lily's. God help him when Lily gets actually older and has an actual boyfriend.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm hearing is I'm doomed because I'm soon to be an uncle.
I guess. I mean, it's just a part of the thing. I mean, there is an old joke that fathers are God's punishment on daughters are God's punishment on fathers for having been teenage boys at one point. I can't speak to how true that is, but it's funny.
That is pretty funny. Well, I think there's not a whole lot more to this. It's very much a, "Hey, we're doing this game for this reason. Oh, I want this prize. All right, we're gonna help you out. I'm gonna beat you in a tournament." It's a lot of silly little one-offs that we could, if we really wanted to. We're not going to, but we could go through and tell you all the little things they do. But that's not really the point.
Right.
They're fun. Don't get me wrong, but the way the show works is the way the characters interact with each other. They're having fun with each other. They're kind of popping each other out of their shell. Lily was actually really introverted until Renji kind of helped her out with that, and then her friends helped her out with that.
I think that was just being scared. I think that was just her being scared and insecure, and particularly in her Japanese. I think she's naturally extroverted.
That's entirely a possibility, but the point is she needed that help, and she got it. Renji was a lot more neurotic and scared at first, but he kind of calmed down over time with everyone else.
True.
His sister is probably the only one I can't really see a major change in. Karin had
No,
that
she's pretty based.
yeah. Karin had chip on her shoulder that had to get disabused of. Hotaru had a stick that needed to be removed, if you get my point.
Yep.
But they all do. They all helped each other get over these, pretty
Yeah.
normal things that kids have as problems.
Getting over yourself is a big part of growing up.
So
And a lot of
that's
people
the
never
fun
do.
of this show. These characters are fun. Their minor struggles are fun. They're very. This is slice of life done incredibly, incredibly well. I'm not a slice of life guy, notoriously. I enjoyed this. I wouldn't call it my top tier favorite, but it's not. It wouldn't be. But it's fun. I enjoyed it, and I do recommend it. Well, Art, do you have any final thoughts on cultural exchange with a game center girl?
Not really, old chap.
Oh, what? God, all right. We'll get on out of here then. Hey?
Wait, say no more. Say no more.
Yep. All right. I think that's proof that we're absolutely done with this amazing, amazing show. So if you haven't picked it up on it already, go watch this show. All right, Ark. I believe you have a shout out for us.
Yes, today's shout out is Mr. Welch, who is one of the, at least in public, in terms of having a public
legend.
presence. Yeah, this is the grognard of grognards in terms of tabletop role playing games. So most of you will have seen the, so many ever growing list of things Mr. Welch is not allowed to do in an RPG anymore. So that's him. Apparently they're all real. And he started, from when he was a kid, he would try to spice things up and get away with weird stuff, because that's part of the fun of a tabletop game. And people's GMs started telling him, okay, you can't do this anymore, you can't do that. So he started writing it down, and it continues to this day. But he's more than just a loon. He is someone who's played so many, not all of them, but some played so many different systems, and is very good at getting through to the mechanical heart of a system and reviewing it. So, for example, if you were developing a pen and paper RPG, this is the sort of person you want to take your test build and rip it to shreds and tell you what works and what doesn't. So, from our point of view as TTRPG players, so first of all, you find him mainly on YouTube. There's a number of things there. First of all, there's the series Mr. Welch's Mad Musings, which is basically his reviews / reflections on many, many different series. I'm sorry, not series, games, and systems. And there's also a couple of more specific series that he's done. Welcome to Night City was going over all of the old school Cyberpunk 2070, not 2077, Cyberpunk 2020 books and supplements. And he's in the early stages of Welcome to Echo Base, which is looking at Star Wars D6. And so there's that. He's also, in terms of D&D, he is the Mystara guy. So there's the 5 core settings of D&D. There's Forgotten Realms, Dragonlance, Mystara, and 2 others whose names escape me.
For the Capcom arcade games.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it's straight up like the second one's called Shadows over Mystara.
Okay. But yeah, it's the weird setting in a good way. It's just different. It doesn't have gods. It has people who have become, you would say, demigods to low-range gods called immortals. They do not like gods. They see them as parasites, and they keep them out. And it's the world that's hard to get to in Spelljammer terms, deliberately so. And that if you show up without permission, you're going to get literally shot down and destroyed. But anyway, so it's a very interesting setting. And so he's actually in the middle of trying to, because there's what was originally in the source books, there's the original authors have been putting out sort of, what's the term for when a publisher hasn't blessed it, but the author is still adding to their work? I don't know. And then there's a number of there's a grade of fan stuff that's been put together, and he's been pulling it all together, and is in the process of building a proper and printing a proper Mystara Dungeon Master's Guide. So if anyone's interested in that, for the purpose of paying artists and then paying for the printing, money is needed, and it's entirely non-profit. So I've given him a bit of money for that, even though I don't particularly have any interest, but I want this to exist for people. But yeah, and I see the art that his artists have been coming up with. It is top shelf stuff. So
Okay, well, clearly you had a lot to say about him today.
yeah, so just basically, I mean, leaving the money stuff aside, if you have any interest in tabletop role-playing games and you are not subscribed to this YouTube channel, it's just Mr. Welch. He does actually speak Welsh, but it's WELCH. Go subscribe right now. And
We'll have him
like
in the description.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, well, Ark, that leaves us for where can the people find you?
God, I don't even know. I helped with a big event over the weekend, and I'm still shellacked if it wasn't obvious. But nothing particularly new in terms of video games or whatever. So, at least that nothing that occurs to me right now.
Well, all right. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at LaserKidPrime. You can find me on Blue Sky at LaserKid. And you can find me right on the Toonami Faithful podcast with friend of the podcast Sketch and Kuro, where we talk about Toonami. We shouted them out last time, so you probably have an idea what we do over there. As for the Simuldub Saints, you can find us right here on YouTube, where you're most likely actually listening to us based on the numbers I see. But we do also have an audio version of the podcast out on Spotify and several platforms that pushes out to. It is not the intended form of the podcast, but it is an option. We do like to put stuff on the screen, put jokes when we can that you can't quite do with audio only. So I do recommend the YouTube version, although anything works if you're just listening to us. Hey, thanks for listening to us. Well, that about does it for this week's episode of Simuldub Saints. So until next time, catch you later.